Hi everyone, welcome back to Unorthodox Cricket, and a massive day 3 in the Ashes Test last night. England went in with all the control, and by the end of the day I think it's firmly in Australia's hands. So at the start of the day's play, England trailed by 17 runs with 6 wickets in hand. They had Burns and Stokes at the crease and they were firmly in control. What they would have been hoping at the start of the day is to bat as deep and as long as they can and really put the pressure on the Australians. However, the Australians came out with a lot of firepower and they got rid of Stokes nice and early, and then Johnny Bairstow and Moeen Ali fell very soon after. Now Stokes, his shot was a little bit loose, probably a little bit close to cut, he just got a tickle on the inside edge through to the keeper. Johnny Bairstow, very much the same, very loose. Now he's a massive problem for the English. We all know how good he is in the one-day form of the game. However, since the start of 2018, I think he's averaging 23 with the bat in Test cricket, and I think he's been bowled about 60% of his dismissals. So I know he didn't get bowled today, but his Test game is really struggling, and it's such a contrast to his ODI game. We all saw how dominant he was in the World Cup. So we all know he's got the ability, he's shown it at Test level before, but there's clearly just something a little bit wrong in his game. Whether or not that's the glove work, I'm not sure. But that's something pretty big for the English to be concerned about, because at the end of the day, he's one of their best batsmen and they want to be getting runs out of him. And he's going to be huge in the second innings if England are going to have any chance of winning this game. Moeen Ali, I've said it before, but he must be one of the most frustrating players as an English fan to follow. We all know he's got the ability with the ball and bat. However, he's just so inconsistent, and it's really hard to pick a guy like that. He might be brilliant one day and horrible the next. We saw in this innings, he left a reasonably straight ball to Nathan Lyon, didn't move his feet whatsoever, and had the off stump pegged back. Now, in fairness, the ball was turning, so leaving the ball was a good option for the left-hander. However, with no foot movement, and he just looked stuck on the crease. He was in a stance and nothing, just let the ball pin back the off stump, and that was the end of Moeen Ali. And that was a massive moment in the game where England would have wanted those key runs from Moeen Ali, and he didn't come through. Rory Burns couldn't really kick on overnight. He played a great innings the night before, really grounded out. Maybe not the prettiest innings, but he put England into a really strong position. So he didn't quite get the day 3 he would have been hoping for. Now this left Broad and Wokes to do a lot of rebuilding. Now we've all seen over the years how hit and miss Broad is. He showed so much potential early on as a potential future all-rounder. He scored that big 160, I think, against Bangladesh. And then he got hit in the head, and it's all sort of been downhill from there, so that's a massive one for the English. But he stepped up last night, he grounded out really well with Chris Wokes until he tucked one off his legs and got caught at deep fine leg, which seems to be a common mode of dismissal for old Broady, with a lot of top edge pull shots and ducking and diving those short balls. But that was a massive partnership for the English. Just when the Australians were on top, those two came together, grounded out a little bit and got the lead up to 90. So with the English bowled out and the lead at 90, the way Nathan Lyon was turning the ball, even Steve Smith came on for a couple overs and a couple kept low and skidded through. I think the English will be hoping that lead was more about 150, but come their second innings, late day 4, early day 5, I think Nathan Lyon is going to be an absolute handful on that pitch. I think it's only going to continue to deteriorate and be an absolute nightmare for the batsmen. So they're really going to have to bowl well in their second innings and really restrict Australia as much as possible. So with that lead at 90, England came out with the ball without the help of Jimmy Anderson, which is massive. Put such a massive workload on all the other bowlers, and Moeen Ali is going to really have to step up. Started really well for the English, getting rid of Bancroft and Warner early on, and then Khawaja came in and played quite free-flowing in what was quite a tough wicket. The fall of Khawaja brought Smith and Head together, and Smith, as always, he just looks so free-flowing. He really is next level. His ability to play and adapt on such a tough wicket and still be striking in the 60s is pretty incredible. Just the way you always think you've got a chance with him, LBW on the legs, but that's just where he milks it all day. And England are going to have to remove him early on if they're going to have any chance of this match. Travis Head's providing a good supporting role there, and he's going to have to kick on. However, the English are really going to have to come out tomorrow and bowl really smartly early on, take early wickets and restrict this Australian lead to, I dare say, they don't want to be chasing more than 150 200 is going to be a tough task. So at the end of the day, Australia lead by 34. Smith and Head at the wicket. Moeen Ali is really going to have to show up on day 4 and dominate for the English. Without Jimmy Anderson there, it just puts a lot on Stuart Broad and Ben Stokes. So Moeen Ali's got to step up, get that ball ragging, get rid of the Aussies early on, and then set up the English openers to go out and chase, hopefully no more than 150. But that's the state of play at the moment. It's going to be a massive task for the English. They really threw day 3 away a little bit with the bat there. They're still in this game, but they're going to have to bowl really well and get rid of Steve Smith early. So that's all for today, guys. Thanks again for watching. Let me know what you thought of today's play in the comments, and I'll see you again tomorrow.